Commander Zekthor of the Valerian Empire watched the holographic display with mounting dread. The Krell swarm had broken through the third defensive line. 37 worlds had fallen in as many days. His species, once proud conquerors of 12 star systems, now faced extinction. "Sir, the Council is requesting immediate evacuation protocols," his communications officer chirped, her chromatophores flashing distress patterns across her scaled skin. "Denied," Zekthor growled. "We hold this position. Send word to all remaining fleets. We make our stand at Valoria Prime." His second-in-command, General Tefrak, approached the command platform. "Commander, with respect, we cannot win this fight. The Krell reproduce faster than we can kill them. Every world they consume makes them stronger. We need a miracle." Then perhaps, a new voice interrupted in heavily accented Valerian, "You should have called us sooner." Every head in the command center turned. Standing at the entrance was a figure unlike any they had encountered. Bipedal, like the Valorians, but shorter, with pale skin and hair the color of summer wheat. She wore a dark blue uniform with golden emblems and carried herself with quiet confidence. "I am Captain Jennifer Morrison of the United Earth Navy, commanding the UEN Resolute," she said, stepping forward. "We received your distress signal 3 weeks ago. We came as quickly as we could." Zekthor's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Earth? The pre-FTL world? You achieved light-speed travel in less than 2 decades. 15 years, actually," Morrison replied with a slight smile. "Turns out when you realize you're not alone in the universe, funding for space programs becomes a lot easier to secure. We've been watching the Krell advance. Your people fought bravely, Commander. But this ends now. One ship." Tefrak's voice dripped with desperation and disbelief. "You bring one ship against a swarm of billions." Morrison's smile widened, showing her teeth in a way that made every Valerian instinctively step back. It was predatory. Hungry. "Oh, General. The Resolute isn't alone. She's just the first to arrive. Tell me, how long does it take to mobilize a Valerian battle fleet?" 3 months for full deployment," Zekthor answered, unsure where this was leading. "We mobilized Earth's entire military in 6 days," Morrison said calmly. "Every nation, every armed force, every military asset. When humanity learned that genocidal aliens were slaughtering intelligent species, we didn't debate. We didn't form committees. We acted." She gestured to the holographic display. "We've been studying the Krell for 3 weeks. Biomechanical hive mind, carbon-based, vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses, dependent on their queen nodes for coordination. They evolved in low-gravity environments. Their exoskeletons are dense but brittle under kinetic stress." Zekthor felt his respiratory passages constrict. This human had learned more about their enemy in weeks than they had in months of desperate combat. "How many ships do you bring?" he asked quietly. Morrison's expression hardened. 12,000 combat vessels. Another 8,000 in support roles. 4 billion troops trained in warfare across every conceivable terrain and environment. And something the Krell have never encountered before. What's that? A species that has spent its entire existence perfecting the art of killing itself. Before Zekthor could respond, the tactical display erupted with warnings. The Krell vanguard was entering the system, a writhing mass of bioships that blotted out the stars. "Here they come," Tefrak whispered. "Billions of them." "Contact the Resolute," Morrison said, tapping her wrist communicator. "Execute Protocol Apocalypse. Authorization, Morrison Alpha 7. The void around Valoria Prime suddenly blazed with light. Thousands of human warships dropped out of FTL in perfect formation, their weapons already charging. But these weren't elegant energy weapons like the Valorians used. These were brutal, efficient instruments of destruction. "Railgun batteries, full spread," Morrison ordered calmly. "Fire." The human fleet opened fire, and Zekthor understood why the captain had smiled. The humans didn't use precision energy weapons. They used mass. Hundreds of thousands of tungsten rods, each weighing several tons, launched at relativistic speeds. The kinetic energy was astronomical. The Krell bioships, evolved to deflect energy weapons and chemical explosives, shattered like crystal against the onslaught. Entire swarm clusters simply ceased to exist, torn apart by impacts that released fusion-level energy. EMP torpedoes away, Morrison continued. Target their coordination nodes. Electromagnetic pulses rippled through the Krell formation. The biomechanical components that allowed their hive mind to function instantly fried. Millions of Krell ships went dead in space, their pilots brain dead as the neural network collapsed. Nuclear payload, clean detonation, Morrison said. Fire. Fusion warheads, refined through centuries of Cold War paranoia and weapons development, detonated in precise patterns throughout the Krell formation. The thermal and radiation output was calibrated to cook Krell biology while leaving Valerian technology intact. It took 4 hours. 4 hours to end a war that had raged for months. 4 hours to eliminate a threat that had consumed worlds. 4 hours for humanity to demonstrate why they had fought themselves for millennia. When the last Krell bioship was reduced to cooling slag, Morrison turned to Zekthor. Commander, your world is secure. We'll station defense platforms in orbit and help you rebuild. We've also located the Krell homeworlds. What will you do? Zekthor asked, though he already knew. What we've always done to those who threaten innocent lives, Morrison replied, her voice cold as deep space. We'll make sure they never threaten anyone again. General Tefrak approached Morrison, his warrior's pride momentarily overcoming his shock. Captain, I must know. Your species, you fight like demons. How? Morrison looked at the Valerian general, and for a moment, something sad flickered behind her eyes. General, we've fought over land, resources, religion, ideology, skin color, and pride. We've nearly destroyed ourselves a dozen times. We know war intimately, in all its horror and brutality. The only difference between us and the Krell. She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. We know when to stop. As the human fleet began coordinating relief efforts with the Valerian survivors, Zekthor realized that humanity's arrival had changed more than just the war. They had changed the galaxy itself. The Valerian Empire had learned an important lesson: never threaten a species that had weaponized every nightmare they'd ever dreamed and survived.